each one of us, I guess, can make a difference. And sometimes, like, making a difference doesn't mean like you become the Elon Musk who's creating electric cars and changing everything. It can be helping the next person, you know, whether it's in your office, whether it's in your community, whether it's in your home country. I think we are all capable of, you know, creating a change that makes the world a better place to live.
Hello and welcome once again to my channel, Say Something with Mads. I'm Madhumita and today is a special day. As you all know that I invite youth on my channel every week from across the globe to talk about issues close to their heart, talk about what they feel, what's their passion, and what they think about the issues which is globally very common and which needs to be tackled. Today, I have a special guest and I'm really thankful to Joel for having accepted my invitation. He's joining us from USA. Hi, Joel. How are you doing?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. And let me tell my viewers why it's so special because how I connected with him. I am an avid TED Talk listener and I happened to listen to Joel's TED Talk and it just blew my mind. I heard it not once, twice, I heard it three times and it connected me so well to the ethos and to my core values of education, youth, and overcoming challenges that I pursued Joel to come on my channel. So I will not speak much and I will let Joel talk about his journey from Ugandan. He's born in Congo and his life in the refugee camp of Uganda, and now he's in USA. He's working in a big company. So this journey is really fascinating for anybody who's listening, and I want him to take us through this journey. Over to you, Joel.
All right, thank you so much for the nice introduction, and thank you for checking out my TED Talk. By the way, it's very nice.
Absolute pleasure. Absolutely, it is one of the best I heard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, so a little bit about me as our host said, my name is Joel, and then I was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's a country in the south, in the central west part of Africa. And then when I was a little bit less than 1 year old, I moved to Uganda with my family, and that's where I grew up from. And then in 2015, I went to high school in South Africa for my 2 years of high school. It's called the African Leadership Academy. It's in Johannesburg. And then after that, I came to the United States for my undergraduate, and I graduated in May last year. So I'm a little bit still like a student. I just recently graduated, and then I'm working as a project engineer. So I did civil engineering in college, and right now I'm working full time as a civil engineer or as a project engineer with one of the construction companies here in the US. And I guess we'll be talking more about my involvement outside work, and I guess that's how I connected with you. So thank you so much for having me.
Please take us how your journey was, how your schooling was, and his contribution. Why he is here today is because he has designed an educational game, a game for the students of the primary children, and which would bring a livelihood, which will bring make education more interesting and not drab and boring. The children find more, they look forward to going to school, and I would like him to take us through the journey of his company, which is called My Home Stars, and how he designed his first game 5 stars, and this is a really fascinating journey, and I must not talk now and let Joel speak about it.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I can share more about my home stars and the 5 stars. So my home stars is a nonprofit actually that a colleague of mine and he's called Anson Liow. He's actually from Malaysia. So I met Anson in 2018 in college, and we started sort of thinking together about how we could make education more accessible in communities such as refugee camps. Like I mentioned, I grew up in a refugee camp in Uganda. And so for me, making education accessible has always been a passion of mine, and part of it has been mostly because of, can I say, me coming from the refugee camp, going to school, and seeing how, I guess, how impactful education is. Even though I did engineering, for me, education has always been something that I really hope that every child can have a chance to. But then besides like providing education or making education accessible, I've always asked myself, how do we make education more fun and engaging? Because if you think about it, a child who is 10 years old or 12 years old, all they can think about is becoming an engineer or becoming a doctor one day. That's all they think about. But when they go to class or when they go to school and then the math is hard, the science is hard, that thinking of becoming a doctor and an engineer is not enough. It's usually maybe them finding school fun, maybe them having a lot of friends at school, maybe having teachers who are encouraging them and can I say inspiring them, or maybe having families that are inspiring them to go to school. To me, making sure that education or schools are more fun and engaging for children, I feel like it's one way that we can help children realize their dreams. Because usually when it gets hard, those things that inspire them are what they turn to, or they're the ones that keep them going. And I guess it also speaks to the situation in refugee camps. In refugee camps, sometimes children will come to school and they've not eaten, or when they're having challenges back at home. And so thinking that just giving them a textbook or telling them to go to the library to read textbooks, it's not enough. And so for me, that's why I've always thought about, how do we make schools more fun and more engaging for these children who might not necessarily have education at the forefront of their mind every time they go to school. So that's I guess the background of how we came to create My Homestars, or the mission of My Homestars is to make education more accessible, but not just accessible, but in a more fun and engaging way. And then on the game are the 5 stars. About the game, the 5 stars is a game that Anson and I have created, and of course working with a team of teachers and colleagues back in Uganda that compresses, or it summarizes, the education curriculum for primary school in Uganda in modularized packages, whereby we've broken it down into 4 modules. So the first module is for math, and then the other one is science, and then social studies, and then English. So the 4 modules that are covered within the Ugandan education curriculum. And then we've gone further to break that down into classes. So right now we are covering 4 classes. So there's primary 4, primary 5, primary 6, and then primary 7. So if you think about it, it's 4 modules for 4 classes. So it's about, can I say, 16 different modules. There's 4 modules for one class, 4 modules for the next, until the 4 classes are covered. And then it's something we are continuously improving. We are continuously working with teachers to figure out, what's going well, what are we doing better, and then we need to keep doing that. What are we not doing well, or what could be improved. It's a constant process that we go through with the teachers to make sure that we are keeping up with providing a product that these children can use to make sure that they are getting quality education. So yeah, that's briefly about My Homestars, and then the 5 stars.
Joel, I was listening to you, and you had this idea that when you were growing up that you wanted to bring a change. And at what age you started thinking that I want to do something for education?
So honestly, I don't remember exactly when I sort of thought that education could be made more fun or could be made into games, because I didn't grow up like playing a lot of board games. When I was growing up, me and my friends, we played a lot of card games, like spades. I don't know if you've seen those, like cards that you shuffle.
Card games. Yes.
Exactly. Those are the ones that I played most of the times with my friends, but they have nothing to do with school or education, really. It's just for fun. But I also played a lot of soccer, football, as I would call it, in school. And to me, it was always fun. Those are the 2 things that, made me look forward to go to school. For example, soccer, I had a lot of friends at school. So most of the time I went to school because I was like, okay, during break time, we're going to play a lot of soccer with my friends. And then when I was at home during the evenings, I would play a lot of spades with my friends as well. So in one or the other, games really made me love school, if I can put it like that, because I got to make a lot of friends, and then I got to have a lot of fun. And then when I was developing the game, or if I could take it where the motivation to create a game came from, because I was like, if this helped me with my friends when I was going to school, probably it could help other children, because like children are really the same. If you think about it, I come from Uganda, but if I had a game in Uganda to play with kids in Uganda, and then I came to India with the same game, it doesn't matter if the children know my name or they know where I'm coming from. If I'm able to teach them the game, they probably will be wanting to play
Love
with
you
me.
anyway. Yes.
Exactly. So I guess it's what I thought about. I was like, when I was going to school, I loved playing games, games that were fun. And I'm sure these children as well might be able to enjoy, playing games that are fun as they come to school. But also I wanted to take it a step further. We didn't want to just create games for fun or provide them
Mm,
spades or soccer, but we wanted to make sure that, they are learning the math, they're learning the science and the English
yeah.
that that's
Mm.
covered in school.
That's the USP of your game, because your games assist the teachers also, as the teachers is a big problem everywhere. The number of students are more, and though we don't have teachers cannot look at so many students at a time. So maybe the game can help them keep the students engaged while they are teaching, and it's kind of a tool in their hand. That's the beauty, because the subject, it's not a game, it's also about the subject. Since this is a company now, how is the funding coming from, and where is the money coming? How are you making it? Where are you making the games? Is it still made in Uganda? And how often are you going to Uganda to see how the games are being used, or you have a team? So what is this all logistics taken care of now?
Yeah, so it's really mainly, can I say, a non-profit. It's an organization that's a non-profit. I would call it a non-profit social venture.
Mm,
So that means we don't, like for example, we don't make any profits from the organization.
mm,
Like all the games we create, all the time I put in, it's entirely voluntarily. So I just volunteer my time. Where the funding is coming from, the public has been very, very, very generous. So all the funding that we've used to run the program and to create the games, it's people who donate money to our cause. Like if you go on the website, there is like an option to donate. And also like I try to explain this to people, because yeah, when people get to talk to me for the first time, they think, it's a traditional, can I call it a company, or we are a traditional people who are like creating these games and then selling them, but we are really not selling these games. We make these games free of charge to these children. And then the public has been, again, very, very generous in supporting our work. Even the new game, I talked about the new game, your
yeah,
African
please
Quest.
show the game, African Quest. Yeah.
Right. So this is the new game that we've created. And this game is meant to support the one in Uganda. So this game can be bought by anyone across the world to learn about Africa, and mainly about 5 things: to learn about the people of Africa, the countries of Africa, the culture, and then food, and then the geography, like the natural surroundings of the African continent. Right.
That
And
this, yeah. Okay, go ahead,
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
then I just want to point out that, for example, we are encouraging people, when you buy this game, to also buy another game of the 5 stars. So you buy this game and then you send it to Uganda. So this is the 5 stars that we're talking about. And
Okay.
so when you buy this, we're encouraging you to also buy this and then send it to children in the refugee camp back in Uganda. And my colleagues and I don't get any, like, we don't really take any money from this. So it's
Mm.
entirely uh, a social mission, and we're entirely sort of really trying to make it just education accessible for these children.
Wow, lovely. You told me this. And if people want to donate to your organization, how are they going to do? If my listeners are listening, how can they do that?
So there should be a link to donate on our website, which I can share with you. I think our link is www.myhomestarsmhs.com. So we
Okay.
can share that with the people. But yeah, when you go on our LinkedIn, I mean, like on our website, you should be able to find a button to donate.
Okay.
And
Okay.
actually also like a space to buy the new game.
Mm.
But of course, all the money that is generated there goes to buy the new game, all the 5 stars games that go to Uganda.
All right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a beautiful connection. Like you buy one game and you donate one game for the underprivileged children. So that's amazingly beautiful concept. And I'm sure people who are listening will have to go to LinkedIn to check Joel, and then go on to his website and check out this from any part of the world. You can do that. Joel, can these games be replicated, as you said, to any country? Can we have it in India also? Can we do a game like this? 5 stars, I'm talking about the 5 stars game, because we do have issues. Our children in villages are very similar to what your condition is. We may not be having a civil war, that kind of condition, but still, because of the population, because of number of teachers, education is still a very rote learning method in many of the smaller villages where it's very difficult to reach. So these games might help. Okay, I wanted to ask also, is this in English, this game?
Yes, it's in English. Everything is in English. Because in Uganda, we use the English, we follow the English curriculum, the British curriculum. We are a British colony, I guess. Everything is in English.
And it's easy to understand, right? Like anybody can do that, because our in our country also we have English speaking, but we are mostly speak our language is constitutional language is
Okay,
Hindi.
I see.
So we speak yeah. Coming to my next question, yeah, I was asking you, can these games be replicated everywhere?
It's possible. I won't say it's impossible. The only tricky part is running these programs in schools, because there is a whole. I mean, like, I would say my team and I have done when it comes to creating the game itself, or creating the product, and then producing the product, and then distributing the product within the schools. It's something that we never get to talk about, but it's a lot of work. And so I would say, if we have people in India who are willing to help us, like, revise the like build the product, can I say, and then match the Indian, can I say, curriculum, it's possible. It's not impossible. This is not, like, can I say, this is not physics or crazy stuff
Yeah,
that you have to
I'm
do.
just saying that, yeah, it is universal. Like, but as you said,
Exactly. Yeah.
actually taking it to the teachers, and like, so that you were there in Uganda and you had connected to your primary teachers, they were more accepting. They gave you the chance to try out the game. So there has to be some connect. If it has to be done more, countries like us, countries like ours,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
many other countries.
No,
Yes.
you would just need, can I say, a dedicated group of people. I don't know how many, but people who are willing to, try it out in an Indian school, and then pilot it, and then see what they have to change. Because what I don't want to say is, you can get exactly what we have in Uganda and then bring it to India, and then it will work. It won't really. But you'd have to do like a small adjustments
Demo
and
testing. Yes, yes,
right,
yes.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it can definitely be used there as
Yes.
well.
And the cause is something which is very, very important, is you buy another game and you can donate one game to the underprivileged. They don't have to buy it. So this is the actual people want to help. So let's see how this goes when this episode is aired, how it is taken, and let me see what collaborations can happen. Joel, my next question to you would be, what if you have to write a book on yourself? What would the title of the book be?
Wow. I would be lying if I told you I've thought about that.
So
Um,
why don't we
but
name it as Shining Star, Bright Star, 5 stars only. It's such a beautiful name. And I remember you telling that the stars, everybody is a star, and then that's how the name came. Like these are the 5 constellations, right? The star, 5 main stars, something like that. You
I
said.
guess, yeah, I would spend another, can I say, podcast talking about stars and why I'm fascinated by stars. It wouldn't be a bad idea to title it, the star within each one of us.
Yeah,
Because I think,
correct.
like I mentioned, I think I really believe that, each one of us is meant for the stars. And I think there's no doubt, when you meet people and then sit with each individual and then listen to them and hear their dreams, their goals, and hear what they've gone through, it's amazing, how incredible each one of us is.
Yeah.
So I think a title, they start within each one of us, would not be a bad idea.
Not bad idea at all. Yeah. From 20 years down the line, where do you see yourself doing what?
I like that. 45, I'll be having a lot of wisdom. 20 years from now, I probably will. So right now I'm in construction and then doing this work still like, full time, but mostly in evenings and then weekends, maybe running a construction company that builds schools for rural
Oh,
communities. I want to
okay.
remain in education, but also I want to be connected to construction. So like you mentioned, the population in most rural communities is high. Children don't have enough schools, they don't have enough teachers. So I see myself using my background in construction and what I'm trying to learn to maybe make education accessible through the construction of more schools for rural communities.
Wow, lovely. Because your two passions will come together, school as
Exactly.
well as civil engineering. Saying lovely. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. What if you were offered it as an education minister of your country? Would you go back?
No, no, no. I never see myself going into like
Politics.
education ministry, like public policy related things. Yeah, I have, unless if my mind changes, but I've never seen myself like working directly in government. I hope I will be able to work with the government, but not working, can I say, under the government, if I can put it that way. There's a lot of policy. I strongly believe that if you want to make change, you go out there and then do it, not necessarily waiting to become an education minister, a construction minister, or ministry of construction and roads
Correct.
and all this, because I've seen a lot of good people with pure intentions who had big dreams before they went into government. By the time they become an education minister, they can't do anything, or they can barely get anything done. So I think
Right.
social entrepreneurship is one of the best ways you can make really change, rather than waiting to become an education minister. I don't believe in that.
All
Or I
right.
do to some extent, but I think to maximize.
I know. Yeah. But what if we need young people and to with passion like this to come? Who knows? Let it be. Let's see. Okay. Joel, my next question would be, if you have to take three people out for a dinner,
Mm,
who would those three people be? From very known people around the world, you want to meet somebody globally known figures, three people to dinner. Who would those three people be, and where would you take them?
wow, that's a very good question. I hope this doesn't sound cliche, but I think I would love to meet Barack Obama. I would
Yeah,
like
of
to meet
course.
the
Of
former.
course, we all love him. Yes, number one. Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to meet Barack Obama. He's just an interesting human being. I mean, like everybody knows about him, but I think he's an interesting human being. Not just because he's the former president of the United States, but I think just who he is. He's just an incredible human being. So I think I would like to take Barack Obama with me.
All
The
right.
other one would be Simon Sinek. I don't know if
Okay.
you know him.
Yes, yes,
Um,
we know him. We all follow,
yeah,
we read his, yeah, blogs, yeah,
exactly. I
podcaster.
think I watch him a lot and I read about his work a lot. I think there are two concepts that really fascinate me about him. The concept of finding your why, or there
Yes,
isn't like he's this person who believes that if you're to do something great, you really have to understand your why. And he's written a book also, like starting with
yes.
why. It's an incredible book.
Golden
And
circle,
then
cycle.
right. And then recently I've been following him, and I think he's talked about this for a long time. But right now I've been reading a lot about his work on, or his concepts around, the finite and the infinite game. He talks about those two concepts, the idea that, can I say life or business or leadership is not about, you know, you can I say reaching a definite goal, or having a predetermined destination, because it's like there are no rules of the game, so it's like it's continuous.
Yes.
And for me, I find him fascinating. For some reason, I'm a big fan of Chadwick Boseman. He passed away.
Oh,
The
okay.
the the main character in Black Panther, I guess Black Panther one, the first Black Panther movie. I think I would love to take him to dinner as well. But yeah, maybe those three people. I will
Oh,
have to
lovely.
replace, I guess, Chadwick.
No, no, that's okay. It's
Right.
it's somebody who's even not there. Maybe you can bring
Very
him.
good.
And where would you go for this dinner with Barack Obama, Simon Sinek, and Chadwick?
I don't go to restaurants that much. I would say anywhere whereby I can be able to talk to them, because for me, I feel like with on that dinner, it's not about food, it's about really being able to chat. So
There you are. Yeah,
anywhere where I would be able to speak to them would be fine. Yeah.
what do you think is the biggest crisis facing the world now?
The biggest crisis. The biggest crisis, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but I feel like the biggest crisis I can think about right now is I mean, like, it's around civil war. How I don't know much about wars or learning about that, but like the more I read about like the history of, like, for example, the Ukraine and Russia
Yes,
war, or when I think about the previous wars that have happened, it's very interesting to see how there are very many countries involved and how very many countries are, profiting from that disorganization of other countries or displacement of other people. And usually when, news or when people are talking about it, they talk about Ukraine and Russia, like these are fighting. But when you really sort of take a step back, you realize that, there are very many countries involved and very many
correct.
countries benefiting from that. So for me, I find it to be a big crisis. And maybe I would call it a political crisis whereby countries get involved, can I say, in the
For their
background, and then
selfish reason, yes.
exactly. So I think we have a political crisis, if I can call it like that,
Absolutely.
whereby that continues to start wars within different countries, and of course that leads to the displacement of millions of people now. So it's a very big crisis. But for me, I wouldn't call it a war crisis.
It
It's
is another
instead
type of crisis, a humanitarian crisis. More than that crisis
exactly,
is a humanitarian crisis. And
yeah,
nobody is thinking about people where they are going, what it goes on, and the politics has been played around it, and people have forgotten. People have gone busy in their own world, and still this is going on and it's impacting. In fact, if anybody wants to stop it or not, I question them. What is going to happen? Is it actually going
yeah.
to ever stop, or it goes on and on and on? And so many people are being killed. Joel, if there is a choice given to you to visit any country in the
Hmm.
world, which country would be that be?
What would that be? Wow, that's a good question. I guess two countries. One would be France. I don't know why France, but I think it's a fascinating country. The other one would
Okay.
be Poland and maybe Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd love to visit those two countries, or three countries. Yep.
Spain, maybe because of football, soccer.
Right. It's a good reason. Yeah.
You are invited to come to India. I will honestly, this is something which I'm giving you, inviting you to come to India. And whenever you plan, I will host you and I'll take you around. That's for sure. And I have been to South Africa. I've been to across so many countries, but I've been to South Africa. And next year, maybe we are coming to Kenya and Tanzania.
I love
And
the.
yeah,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
was saying that Indian food is my favorite. I like the biryani. So uh,
Ah,
I would for sure
in
love
fact,
to.
next question was this, that what's your favorite cuisine? Okay, you already said it. You like,
Yeah, my favorite cuisine will be, chicken biryani.
wow. You eat it often there? You get to eat them often.
I'm now in Madison, Wisconsin, and we have two Indian restaurants. So I go there often. Whenever I have like a friend visit me in town, you can be assured that I'll be going to an Indian restaurant around town.
Wow, lovely. Yes, of
Yeah, yeah.
course. It makes
I
me
love the food.
happy. You love the country also. All All right. If you have recently read any book which has inspired you, any podcast, as you said, you listen to Simon Sinek. So that's
Right.
one suggestion for people who are listening, that with anything you want to suggest to our audience.
Three or four books I would recommend. I recently just finished reading The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, a fascinating book. And try it's I think right now it's probably my favorite book. It talks about the journey of this, lawyer from the United States who, gets burnt out by his job and then goes to India to find sort of new meaning. It's an
Super.
incredible book. So that would be one. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. The Go Giver. A very interesting book. I would recommend that you check it out. Yeah. So the next one would be How to Win Our Friends and Influence People. I think that's how to win friends and influence people. And then the last one would be Total Focus by it's about how do you find focus in can I say in a distracted world or whereby there's a lot of things going on. How do you find focus?
I would suggest one book to you, which I think I tell everybody to read. Though I read a lot of books, but this one, if you are looking for to start your finance journey, I think this is one book, The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a very
Oh,
thin book.
I see.
You've heard about this.
Yeah, I've read that book actually.
You've read it?
Yeah, I might have to read it again because it's definitely an interesting book. But I guess it didn't come as one of my top choice. But yeah, I will have to read it again since you recommended it.
Yeah, you are right. If you read it earlier, maybe it won't because the language is such that when you read it earlier, you won't know. But now that you are 25 and you are earning yourself, this will make a lot more difference when you read it again. So we have had a fascinating discussion about your work, about your journey, and to know you as a person. So we have come to the end of our beautiful talk. Now is role reversal. Now you get to ask me one question. What would that be?
I mean, like this. I wish you had asked me to ask more questions. I will ask you one. You mentioned that you were a teacher, right, by profession. I'm curious, like, what made you feel like starting a podcast or bringing young people to your podcast and sharing their journey was one of the things you'd be spending time on? Like, what inspired you to feel like this was worth your time?
A very good question, which I get asked most often, that why again, Simon Sinek's,
Right,
why you are doing what you are doing.
right,
See, basically, I love the thought process of youth, and I did not want to only confine myself to teaching Indian children, which I've been doing for last 25, 26 years. I
right,
wanted to meet everybody, every youth in the world. What they're thinking is, how do I do it as a teacher if I sit in one school and teach children from one city? Maybe even I was always in Mumbai, so I thought that Mumbai children, their thought process, their thinking almost similar. So how do I meet people of the world? So to start something of my own, where I
yeah,
connect to people like you, connect from everywhere and bring them to this platform so that I can learn what is going on in their mind, what is the issue which is troubling them, what is their core values. So
right,
it's
right.
just a purely my selfish reason to know the youth, and I don't know what else to how else could I met all of you if unless I have my own channel and I connect this.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, I know you said I should ask one question, but can I ask two more, please? Please,
Yes.
please let me ask two more.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the other question I had, so I noticed in your background you have the portrait of Cristiano Ronaldo. Why Cristiano Ronaldo?
I am a big fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, and we love football. Grown up watching football.
Yeah.
My
Wow.
parents and we are in Bengalis. We are big football fan, and he somehow I idolize him, and I've read about him, his journey. And Roger Federer,
Is
one
that
one
yeah,
of my
Roger Federer, I see. Wow.
yes, one of my best, most favorite tennis star. His story, his life story. I've read his biography, autobiography, everything. So I love tennis, and I love tennis, though I don't play much of them, but they are my
Mm.
most passionate games. I follow football like mad. We have been to Qatar World Cup, so I follow football.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. My last
Thank you.
question. You're a teacher with a lot of experience, and I'm assuming you're also a parent and with a lot of experience. If you had one piece of advice to me, what would that be? Or to any other younger person of my age, what would that be?
All right. Okay. Straight answer. um, to you, you are already doing that action speaks than word. So do something on the ground. Don't keep listening to people talking that we have to do something, we have to do. Actually, start on the ground and start doing it. So you are already doing it. I don't have to give you any advice. But the only thing is, what you are, I would suggest to every youth is bring back what your country lacks. People go for better opportunity outside, but how many people give back to the country? So
Mm,
people, country needs your expertise, your money, your time. So come back to the country and help the people who need. So
amazing.
though I'm
Yeah.
in Dubai, I will like, I know that this lot can be done in India, and I'm trying to see build up this, and eventually, of course, go back there. Thank you so much. So parting words to end this, Joel. What would your uh, you would say, what would your suggest, I would say suggestion, what would you tell today's young generation who are listening? I have a lot of youth be listening to this. And what would your parting words be to them?
Yeah, so I guess my departing words would be, each one of us, I guess, can make a difference, and sometimes like making a difference doesn't mean like you become the Elon Musk who's creating electric cars and changing everything. It can be helping the next person, whether it's in your office, whether it's in your community, whether it's in your home country. I think we are all capable of, creating a change that makes, the world a better place to live. So I would
Absolutely.
say keep doing that and find
Keep
a way
doing
to
it.
make a change. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's an amazing thing to amazing line to end. That do a little bit about your neighbor, about people who come and help you in the house. Everybody needs a little bit of appreciation, little bit of encouragement in whatever they are doing. If we can make them happy and can do a little bit. Thank you so much, Joel. I'm so glad that we had this conversation, and I hope I wish your company, the Homestar, a lot of success. And I hope this game of yours, African Quest, is bought by many, many people so that they can help as many Ugandan refugee kids who need this. So, this I implore to all my viewers to just give it a thought and buy his game and help people out. So, thank you so much. And thank you once again for subscribing to my channel, listening to it, and commenting on this. And to end this, as I say every time, that live a happy life, live a good life, but don't forget to do your little bit for the planet every day. Thank you so much, Joel. Bye bye.
Thank you.